Hey YouTube, we just got the Escalation of Freedom patch notes, and I've been playing all day with the new patch. I think it's been live for almost 9 hours or so, and we've been streaming the entire time. I'm going to quickly go through the patch notes and my first impressions on how they actually impact the game. We'll be talking about the nerfs, buffs, changes, and here we go. We won't go through every single patch note, but we'll try and pick out the important ones, the ones that actually are impactful to your day-to-day play. First off, obviously adding in Super Helldive. It's fantastic. Very fun. I think it's a really nice step up from 9. It kind of feels like the difficult level 9 missions, and then you mix in the new tough enemies. At certain parts, I was finding myself being completely overwhelmed a lot, especially when you're assaulting the brand new large enemy outposts on level 10. Like, there's just impalers coming out of everywhere, and like the tentacles just constantly like ragdolling you, and then you have the alpha brood commanders coming in from left and right. And dude, the alpha warriors are assassins. If you thought it was the hunters that were your worst enemy, just wait until you see the alpha warriors. They are like 3 times faster than the other like version of warrior, and they are terrifying. Really fun though to play. I think I want to say that like Super Helldive bugs is maybe harder than Super Helldive bots, just because the mixture of all the new types of enemies and the sheer amount of enemies they throw at you, I felt overwhelmed far more on bugs than bots. We'll see how that feels over the coming days, but initial impressions, pretty interesting. I didn't realize that it would swap like that. Hi Luna, you come here? Oh, hi. All right, new bugs and bots. My initial impressions are very strong. They are very interesting, both for bugs and bots. Definitely noticed a small bug with the new rocket tank. When you blow up the engine compartment, it should, like the other tanks, blow up the rest of the tank after you've done this, after a couple seconds, but it doesn't seem to do that right now. So in order to kill the rocket tank, I recommend bringing the 110mm rocket pods or precision 500 kg. It seems like it's a bug. I don't expect it to be different than the other tanks. So, you know, until that gets patched, you know, definitely brings something to be able to like take it out pretty easy. The new impalers are extremely tanky. They are huge compared to other chargers as well. Very oppressive. So they're very much like a priority target. So keep that in mind. As I already said, alpha brood commanders are everywhere, and they are spawning their new enemy type, the alpha warrior, and they are crazy. The new fortified scout striders, their rockets are scary. If they hit you, you're dead. But they die incredibly fast, so they're quite easy. Aim for the legs in particular. Railgun, quite good at killing them. AMR, shoot the legs. Autocannon, shoot the legs or like the crotch area. It's quite strong. So, yep. Other than that, basically the new Spore charger, interesting. It definitely adds a new dynamic to like not being able to see around you, but you know, they're just a regular charger for the most part. Just shoot them in the head with an AT rocket and you're good. All right, going into the Impaler, we've talked about that, and the Free and Force Scout Strider. They're fun. Spore Charger is kind of menacing, but it's not that bad. There's a new MO right now, and it is a new Swamp Planet. Highly recommend checking it out. The planet's terrifying, though. Not only from like a spooky, like haunted vibe, but also there are so many of those gas geysers that you saw in like Gagcrux and stuff like that. And when I mean there's a lot more, I mean there's like 5 times more. It's insane. I think half of our deaths on that planet on tier 10 bugs was like just those exploding because like random things would cause it to explode. One of my friends even said that an impaler arm hit the gas geyser and it caused it to explode and he instantly died. Not 100% sure. Maybe something else activated it, but terrifying on how many there are. They're like literally like a minefield. There are so many of them. Go check it out. It's terrifying. It really is. New environmental hazards. We did a couple missions on the acid storms. I think it's really cool that when the acid storm is active, you got to play kind of safe, but you do way more damage to other enemies. It seems like it's only when the acid storms are active, which makes sense. And I have heard somewhat of reports that if you wear any of these shields, it may shield you from it. Need to test that. Not 100% sure yet, but very cool if that's the case. Okay, going into the first balancing of the weapons. Slugger, it more or less just feels like the original form of the Slugger as far as its stagger force. The spread increase is a little bit noticeable. It's more just like you're not going to be using it to snipe at like 50 meters. It's not very bad. I'm still sniping the eyes of Devastators and so on and so forth at like 20 meters, so it's not a huge problem. And then increased drag, I believe this is just handling. It does feel a little bit more, pun intended, sluggish, but I don't think it's really that bad. If it really bothers you, there's always the armor for better handling. Okay, Incendiary Breaker went down from 6 to 4. It is still, I would argue, one of the best, if not the best, bot weapons in the game. I don't think that has changed. Or sorry, not bot weapons, bug weapons. I do think it is a sizable nerf, and you definitely need to pay attention to your ammo supply more often, but I do not think that it is as big of a nerf as I'm sure that many are going to say. Especially if you are a person that is more like tap firing at a distance, you know, you can really get to the point where you're just like debuffing all the enemies, and by the time the enemies get to you, they're either dead or like almost dead getting to you. Really strong. Highly recommend checking it out. Still one of the best weapons. Just be on the lookout for ammo more often. It'll probably still be an S tier in my tier list. I don't think it will drop anymore. The recoil part, I honestly don't know why they added it, but they did. I don't even think I really noticed it. Just tap fire with the Incendiary Breaker and you'll be fine. Grenade Pistol is, on surface, it looks like a nerf, but in actuality, the second line is probably the most important. Yes, they decrease the maximum ammo supply down by 2, but you get so much more ammo per resupply. It's actually insane. Even the supply backpack gives you 4. Dude, you have so many more rounds in a game. And especially like getting ground bricks and give you 2 instead of 1. Dude, it's a big change. This is definitely more of a buff than a nerf. So if anyone's telling you this is a nerf, it's definitely more than a buff. If in actual gameplay, it actually feels like a buff. Crossbow is now one-hitted. Cool. Buff. Not something that I really needed, but it's cool. You can now use it alongside a SSSD or the ballistic shield. Cool. Or using it with the new things you can pick up in the larger outposts with the eggs and the automaton heads. When you extract with them, you get 2 super samples and 1 rare sample, which is cool. Buff to the guard dog, overall ammo supply. It's nice to have. I still think that the AR-23 guard dog just completely gets outshined by the laser guard dog, but it is what it is. It's just a nice bump, but I'm still going to be taking the laser guard dog over it. Over to Walking Barrage, a nice little bump in like overall rounds fired, and it should be more of like a tighter column, 40% less distance. I believe that's what it means. And in actual practice, that's what it seemed like it was doing. It wasn't going 300 meters in a distance still firing. It'll try and be a little more condensed, which is nice because it's very rare to get like a stream of enemies like more than 100 meters across or depth wise. So it's nice that like they've kind of shrunk it. It should be more concentrated, should do more damage. Great change and buff to the 120 millimeter barrage. Fantastic. 60 seconds less on the cooldown, and they reduce the time between salvos, so it's more of a rapid fire. Fantastic. Great change. Great buff. I highly recommend trying it now. It's a solid 8 pick. Solid. Very solid. And it's on its own identity, right? You have the 380 for like big enemies and big damage AoE, but it's kind of a dice roll on whether or not it's going to hit enemies. And you got the 120 for a more consistent damage, but less damage per shot. It's interesting. So they removed Orbital Scatter. Let's go. Absolutely hated that one. Thank you, Arrowhead. Fantastic change. They've added in a new one, which is Poor Intel. Basically, it means that like objectives, you won't know exactly where they are. You'll just know the general location. It's not that bad. It's kind of like the drill location when you're doing the bug missions. It's kind of like that. You know it's in a general area, but you don't know exactly where it is. Corrosive planets obviously no longer have intense heat as well, which is great. Acid planets, huge glow up. They went from like the worst planet by far to actually a really fun planet to play on. It's obviously the visibility is really hard to play around sometimes on corrosive planets, but it's very unique. It's a very unique experience, and I think it adds some like nice variety. Gunship patrols are less frequent. When we did the bot missions, I definitely didn't see them as much, but you still see them quite a bit. I don't know how much less frequent, maybe in the 20% less range, but yeah, I don't know how much I've really noticed this. I was definitely finding myself, seeing them a lot. Gunshipped engines are less durable now is an insane change. So we've looked in the files on Helldivers.io. You can look at how they've changed this. Basically, gunship engines take 85% durable damage now on the front and 80% on the back. If you don't know about durable damage, it's basically all weapons in the game do a certain percent of their damage as like normal damage, and a certain percentage of them do durable damage. Autocannon being an exception where it does an equal amount normal damage and equal amount durable damage. Well, that's why it's so good at certain things, right? But what this does allow is things like the railgun is significantly better at killing gunship engines now. It seemed like an average of like 3 shots in the 70-80 range on the front. And then I've been told that the math works out that on the rear engines, it's 2 fully charged railgun shots on the rear engines, which is cool. So if you manage to get those perfect charge shots, you can take them out really fast. I haven't been able to do it in practice yet, but you know, just shooting like normal 70-80% shots on engines, I was pretty reliably helping my team kill gunships, which is a huge W. Now, the railgun, little side tangent, the railgun still struggles against factory striders, but it feels great versus, you know, the new reinforced strider. It feels great against, obviously, devastators. It one-shots them very consistently. It feels great against hulks. If you're very good at hitting the eye, you don't even need to put it in unsafe mode. The railgun's feeling good. It's feeling a lot better than it once did. So definitely give it a try in this patch. We did check the energy shields for the shield generator pack and the shield generator relay now do in fact block snowstorms. So if your team isn't going to bring muscle enhancement, you can just bring the shield generator and it won't slow you down as much. Now the heavy, big, like deep snow piles will still slow you down, but like the actual debuff of the snowstorm will not affect you, which is really cool. They added grief protection, which allows kicked players to basically be in a mirrored instance instantly, which is really cool. But there's a slight exploit that we found during testing. I don't want to talk about how to do it and so on and so forth, but essentially you can exploit this to get bonus samples. Arrowhead, if you're listening, I've already gotten a bunch of my people in chat to like send tickets in to hopefully get this fixed. I don't want to be someone that like spreads this around, but this is exploitable and I hope they fix it as soon as possible. All right. A bunch of crash fixes, nothing crazy here, but if you were crashing, here's a bunch of fixes. Maybe these were affecting you. They allowed the arc blitzer to now fire continuously if you just hold down the button. That might be nice to some people. Arc blitzer and the Punisher plasma now have the right tags for penetration. They're both medium pen. Anything else that's big? They did some fixes here to the ballistic shield backpack, but also the ballistic shield in general was fixed. It should not kill you under certain situations where you're ragdolling, if you've been in those situations. So let me know if you guys see it still killing you, but it should be fixed. Let me know down in the comments down below if you've noticed it, but should be better. Guard Dog got the AR-23 Guard Dog got another buff. You can now get resupplied by the random yellow bricks at POIs, which is nice. It's a nice one, but still Laser Guard Dog exists and it's really fucking good still. So, all right, huge buff for arc weapons right here. Basically, I'm just going to give you the TLDR of these 2 patch notes. Basically, arc weapons feel much better. And in a situation where the arc isn't getting to the enemy, the arc will now show you the path it's taking and why it's not hitting the enemy. Fantastic change. They feel much better from both a hit consistency sake, and it's more visual to why it's not working in the first place. So if you're ever noticing like, why can't my arc blitzer hit this enemy? It will now be more apparent to, oh, it's hitting this bug body. That's why it's not hitting them, you know? But even in more situations, I've noticed that it's like sniping enemies from farther away with lots of bug bodies around. So definitely recommend checking out both arc weapons, the arc thrower and the blitzer. They feel fantastic. I'm honestly at the point of saying that the blitzer is probably like S-, very much A+ on bug missions. It feels great, especially when there's like a horde of enemies. The stagger and the unlimited ammo makes your life a lot easier in those tier 10 bug missions. All right, a bunch of social menu fixes. I've been noticing it's been working a lot better. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are running into issues, but it seems to be working a hell of a lot better. It seems to be functioning the way they want it to, but knowing Airhead, there's probably something they still need to work on. Okay, going into the miscellaneous, we're just going to kind of pick out certain ones here and there that we've been noticing. What are some really big ones? So the experimental infusion booster effect is way less apparent, to the point where like sometimes I don't even notice that I'm being affected by it. So if you know it's the booster that when you stim, you get those like massive yellow borders, and then the screen gets extremely saturated. They've toned it down. It's not nearly as bad anymore. It's a lot better. What's another one? This is the ballistic shield no longer killing you when related to physics, which is fantastic. Shrieker nests are now actually named Shrieker nests instead of bug holes. Nice little small one there, but it's nice. Okay. This one is a bit of a controversial one. Adjusted flame effects to work more realistically. What does that mean? You probably already read it on Reddit, but the flamethrower has been bug fixed / nerfed. The reason why I say bug fixed is it was never intentional that the flame was able to penetrate the leg of a charger. That's what it was doing, right? It's supposed to deflect off of anything under medium armor, right? That's why you can't kill a Shrieker nest with a flamethrower. That's why you can't kill a tank with a flamethrower on the automaton front, so on and so forth, right? It was a happy accident for us that the flame was able to go through the leg of a charger. Now, that being said, the flamethrower is not terrible now. It can still kill chargers extremely fast. You'll be like, wait, what are you talking about? I read it already. It's terrible. No. Wait for the charger to run by you, stun it, shoot at its butt. It takes a little bit longer than shooting at the leg, but the butt will explode and it will die shortly after. It's still a good anti-charger weapon. It's still a good horde weapon. It's very good for bug missions in general, especially when you bring that ammo supply backpack. It's a great choice. It definitely has lost some of its muster. Like, it's not as strong versus chargers. It was extremely powerful that you could just stun lock a charger and kill it in 3 seconds. You now need to do a little bit more finessing to get that same power. But yeah, like, it's unfortunate, but it's most likely been done because we're about to get a primary and a secondary flamethrower. It would have been very busted if those two were able to penetrate a charger's leg and kill them extremely fast. Let's be honest, that would have been disgusting, and not in the good way, right? In a, this is completely busted kind of way. And they probably want to avoid that. Now, it sucks that they took so long to fix this bug that we're now at a point where people just think this is a straight nerf and they thought it was always intended. It would have been better if they just fixed it months and months and months and months ago, and then people wouldn't be like dependent on it now. Because let's be honest, a lot of people are dependent on this bug now, and now it's been fixed, they're extremely upset. I understand why they're upset. I kind of wish that they found a different way to fix this issue where the flamethrower was still better versus chargers or easier to kill chargers, because I fear that a lot of people will not want to do this extra, like, rigmarole of getting behind a charger and attacking the butt. Even though autocannon players have been doing this the entire time, even though a lot of people have been doing it regardless, it seems like a lot of people are just extremely upset about this change. And I can understand to some extent. I do wish they found some kind of middle ground, but I also don't think it is nearly as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. The flamethrower is still going to be in my A tier. It is extremely good in bug missions. And it's also quite good against the new Impaler. When the Impaler puts their head into the ground and then they have that vulnerable neck area, you just walk up to them and flamethrower that neck. That's not heavy armor. It's just normal armor. You can kill an Impaler quite fast in about half a magazine to one full magazine, depending on how damaged and how accurate you are. It seems like there's like good spot and bad spot. Tangent aside, it's still good. Another huge one. If a hell bomb is destroyed when it's armed and the timer is active, it will explode. Huge one. I've been begging for this change forever. It's way better. I did notice a weird issue though, where if you set the charge and then run away and then shoot a grenade pistol, the grenade pistol just blew up the bomb and it didn't explode. But if I shot it with a normal weapon, it was fine. I need to maybe test this more, and maybe you shouldn't try and blow it up immediately because maybe there's like an arm period. Maybe the timer's already active, but it needs to count down a little bit more. I'm not sure, but yeah, just if you notice it not working, try shooting it with a regular weapon rather than like an explosive weapon. We were seeing some weird results, but it's great to be able to, like, for a gunship factory, throw it down, instantly put in the code, and then just like walk backwards a little bit, shoot it, explodes immediately. Oh, so much better for dealing with gunships. Like, gunships are no longer as bad in bot missions, both because of the engine change and this. Huge difference. Huge difference. Fantastic change. Okay, anything else? Small little change to the Patriot exosuit missiles, no longer inflicting self-damage. That's kind of cool. Love to see it. Fixed explosions not working from far distances against armored enemies. I think this is more of a fix for like the 500 kg, where like situations where you throw the 500 kg in, it explodes and it like didn't do anything to the charger next to it, or like 10 meters, 15 meters away. It seems like this has helped the 500 kg. I was definitely noticing the 500 kg kill quite a few chargers in tier 10s today. But yeah, we'll keep experimenting with this one and see if it like actually is noticeable. And also, for those wondering, no, they did not touch the commando. The commando can still one-shot fabricators from any direction, which is fantastic. For those that were noticing that mines were invisible and you were just running through invisible minefields, they have fixed that. I had a couple teammates run them as well. I had no problem seeing them, which is fantastic. I am so tired of getting gaslit into my teammates saying, yo, dude, stop dying to my minefield. It's right there. I pinged it. That's great. They're invisible to me. You know what I mean? Like, super happy that they fixed that. Hopefully it stays fixed. All right, YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed my little bit of like my patch note preview and just like my general thoughts after playing the game and looking at the patch notes again. Overall, I do think the patch is a very strong one. I probably put in like the 8.5 range. It's a very strong patch. Lots of content here, lots of new things, lots of quality of life to Helldivers in general. It is unfortunate that the Flamethrower has kind of been affected in this way, and that's probably one of the main reasons why I'm not going to give it like that 9. And obviously there is some issues with like the new tank, and some people are having trouble unlocking tier 10. If you are having trouble unlocking tier 10 super Helldive, put in a ticket with customer support. They will automatically unlock it for you. This is something that they've said that they are going to hotfix in the coming days, but hopefully they can get that out ASAP, because it's definitely affecting some people, not everyone, but it's affecting some people, which is unfortunate. So yeah, solid patch. We'll see how the developers respond to all the negative backlash to the Flamethrower. Personally, I don't think it's nearly as big of a deal as other people are making it out to be, but I don't have a problem going behind a charger and lighting up their ass for like a couple seconds. But other people seem to have a huge issue with that, so it is what it is. I look forward to seeing how the primary and secondary Flamethrowers handle, and how good they're going to be. That comes out in 2 days. Obviously, we're going to be doing more content surrounding that. I will be updating my tier list, most likely in the coming weeks, so keep an eye on that. And yeah, much love, YouTube. Do consider dropping a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the patch. Yeah, just let me know. And consider dropping by the stream. We're going to be streaming Helldivers all throughout the coming weeks, obviously every single day, every morning. So come on by on Twitch, talk to me about the patch. Let's share our new builds. What are you running for tier 10? Let me know down below if you found something that's really working for you, because I'm definitely tomorrow going to be looking at impalers and like, what are the best ways to kill them? Because they are oppressive if you don't deal with them fast. So much love, everybody. Thank you. Consider dropping a sub on the channel. Come by Twitch, drop a follow. Discord's linked down below if you just want to, talk in between streams and YouTube videos. But yeah, much love. Bye, YouTube.